Hi, welcome back to the Corvallis Business Network podcast, where we're going to help you do networking and do B&I better. And I am Scott Kemp with Cinematic Solutions, a member of the group for the last 3 years. And I've got a special guest today, Dr. Jason Young. And he was one of the founding members of our group 10 years ago. Jesse said 10 years ago.
Yes, many moons ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are we talking about today?
Well, I wanted to kind of share my secret for inviting visitors. I have a distinction, Scott, in the region.
Okay.
Yes. I'm very proud of it. Like, I don't know. I try and be humble, but I can't really.
Let me have it here.
Okay. So I've invited more people who have joined BNI than like anybody locally. I think I'm right at about 20. And that's not even if you count the people that I've invited, who they've invited. And
that's people that have joined, not people that you invited.
People that have enjoyed it. No, I just made up a word.
Enjoyed it?
Yes. And that's how many that I've had join is that I get to make up my own words. Yeah. They've been enjoyed it. Yeah, it's going to be on the test. So write that one down. I'm not going to spell it for you. But yes, 20 people who have joined that I have invited. And then I get a lot of satisfaction over the people that they have invited.
That's right. It's like a tree, right?
Also known as enjoyed and, grown. And that's not just in this chapter, it's other chapters too. So BNI tracks that kind of stuff. We track everything.
Yeah.
So, but I wanted to share kind of what's worked for me because I've tried like everything to get people to come. Mm-hmm. Let me take you back.
Way back. Here we go.
Let me take you back to the year 2015 when we were starting the chapter. And when you're starting a chapter, one of the things that they do, and it's super uncomfortable, is they say, okay, you have enough people to charter. Now you're going to have an event. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be like this big chartering event. Everybody is going to invite 50 people to it. Mm-hmm. 50 people. And so, they wanted you to go out and make a list of 50 people that you could invite. And back then, since this was 2015, before electricity and stuff, we wrote notes. We wrote letters to all these people.
Oh, I think I know where this is going. We heard about it from Jesse.
Yes.
So you got a pile of...
he got a pile of letters. One of them was mine.
Letters.
I was the first person to follow up, which, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself in some of the tips. But so I get credit for Jesse. Okay.
It's been very good to the group.
Absolutely. It's adding Jesse is like the best thing that we could have done. So, but I just wanted to share. So I've done it that super uncomfortable way, which was actually very effective. We got really good people and we got a lot of people that way. But I've also gone even more to an extreme. And sometimes for Visitors Day, I'll invite 200 people. They don't all show up, but it's very much a numbers game. So it's all about volume. So a couple things about being able to invite effectively. Number one is you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. It's not like just socially, it's not really comfortable for me to go out and tell people, hey, come and, visit this chapter. Mm-hmm. Early on, you think that you're inviting people to join the chapter. That's not what you're doing. Okay, you're inviting people to come to a meeting. And so when you change your goal from I'm inviting you to join to I'm inviting you to come to a meeting.
That's right.
It takes a ton of the pressure off.
Right, because you can fulfill that.
Absolutely.
That can happen.
Yes. And then everybody, and like you can think in your mind, everybody who comes to my meeting, like that I invited them to, is smart. Everybody else is stupid. No, I'm just kidding. Don't think that about people. But if that's what it takes to get you to invite people, I mean, I guess. But no, it's so it takes a lot of the pressure off. A big mistake that people make is that they think that when they invite somebody, they have to explain everything about BNI. They have to sell it to them, which absolutely is not the requirement. In fact, that is even a bad idea. It's a bad thing to do.
Because it almost might bring up more questions than you have answers. Or
absolutely. Yeah. And when I had to send out 50 letters, I had 0 answers. Yeah. Like I wasn't even 100% sure what.
Because people are looking for an easy way to say no, right?
Yes.
And if you start getting more and more information, they might latch on to one particular thing and go, oh no.
Yes, exactly. And the thing too is if let's the flip side of that is what if I do have all the answers and I invite you and you ask me a bunch of questions, I give you all the answers. Now you feel like you don't need to go to the meeting, right? Because you've already had all your questions answered.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like going to a BNI meeting. There's nothing like going to Corvallis Business Network's BNI meeting. And so if I answer too many of your questions, I'm robbing you of an opportunity to come and learn. People are like, well, but what if, like, by not answering the questions, that person doesn't show up? Well, go back to what I said before, that most people aren't going to show up. And so it's like no different. And if they have a hard time showing up to a meeting, they're going to have a very hard time joining. So you're not going to talk anybody into joining before they come to a meeting. So no pressure there, okay? You're not going to cost yourself relationships by inviting people. In fact, I've probably experienced the opposite, where once people have found out about BNI and that I knew about this all this time and I made all this money and I've given out all this money based on my membership there, I've had people who actually get kind of upset that I waited so long to invite them.
Like, why didn't you invite me?
Yeah, exactly.
What was wrong with me?
Exactly, right? And so, so it's important to know that you have a higher chance of actually offending somebody if you have something as good as BNI and you're not inviting them than you do of inviting them, okay? So I've had a lot of different things work for me. So the letter to Jesse, that worked. I have, if you go to like a coffee shop or like a restaurant, they all have these like bulletin boards,
right?
And then they have like a bunch of business cards up there. Why do people put their business cards on?
They want more business.
They want business, right? And so those are people who are telling everybody, I am looking for business. I'm looking to grow. And so sometimes I'll walk into those and I just take a picture of that board and I'll zoom in and I'll get people's contact information off of there. And I just send them an email. It says, hey, my name is Jason Young. I'm a local chiropractor and I network with a group of business professionals every week. And we pass over $1 million a year in business to each other. And I saw your card on this bulletin board. I was wondering if you might like to come and
That's a good idea. I mean, I like that.
Yeah.
Those people are looking for business.
Yeah. And it's worked.
Yeah.
I did
and they
this.
took the time to put their card, take their card, find it. So they're actively going for it.
And the other thing that's beautiful about it is those are people who tend to suck at networking. They don't know what they're doing. Why would you just put your card on a bulletin board instead of going out and meeting people, right? So it's definitely somebody that you have something for. Look, I can help you do something that's way more effective if you think this is a good idea, right? So I remember once I was in a smoothie shop, and I saw a card. I picked it up. It was for a window cleaner. His name was Kai. And I sent him the email. And I said, blah, 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 blah. I'd love for you to come be my guest. And sent that off. And there's probably 5 other cards that I did the same thing too, just right there while I was waiting for my smoothie. I went to the meeting the next week. And everybody's standing up, visitors are introducing themselves, and this guy stands up and he says, yeah, hi, my name is Kai, and I was invited by Jason. I said, you were? I had no clue, because I hadn't met him, right? So that's another thing is people think, I have to know who I'm inviting. I have to know this person in order for me to make a good invitation or a personal invitation or blah, 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 And I'll circle back to that in a second, but you don't need to know anybody. You just need to know that people are looking for business and give them the opportunity. So Kai, he not only came to the meeting, but he joined that day.
Nice.
And he was a member of the chapter for several years. And so that was an epiphany for me. I was like, oh my goodness. I don't have to know somebody to invite them. I could just invite them and maybe they'll show up and they just see that the meeting's awesome and they get it and they join. And so that happens too. Sometimes it's about the substitutes that you choose. Like I was going to miss a meeting, which I rarely missed, but I just didn't have a choice this time. And so I asked a friend of mine, a friend of our family, really my wife's friend, to come and sub for me. Bro, I didn't even know she had a business. Okay. So she showed up and she's subbing for me. And she's like, this is actually kind of awesome. Apparently she sold essential oils. I didn't know that. So she was like, can I join the group? And I'm like, no, you need a business. And she's like, I have a business. I was like, oh, you do? I was like, I guess you can. So she joined the chapter. The next year, she was the president of the chapter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so it's like, I mean, Scott, I wasn't putting together some sort of master plan. Like, I'm going to go out and find the next president of the chapter, or I'm going to go and find us a window cleaner or something like that. All these things just come off of invitations. And then there's a couple skills that are associated with the invitations. Can I share them with you?
Absolutely. I want to hear them.
Okay. So the first thing is I always use the Beauty and the Beast technique. And that's what I call it. I don't know if I invented it. I don't know if I invented it. Here we go.
Let's do this.
Yeah, but what's the best song in Beauty and the Beast? It's Be Our Guest, Be Our Guest, Put Our Service to the...
Shows me that I don't know Beauty and the Beast.
The Candlestick, Lumiere, he sings it, right?
Okay.
And I use those words every time I invite somebody. If I was going to invite you to BNI, this is how it would go. Like, pretend we're just meeting. I'd be like, Scott, I'm Jason. I'm a local chiropractor. I see that you have, a business where you do video production.
Yeah, I do.
And you looking to grow?
Absolutely.
Okay,
we
cool.
could definitely use some more.
So what I want to do is I want to give you the opportunity to network with a group of professionals in the community that are passing $1 million in business every single year.
Oh, $1 million?
Yeah. We've been meeting. We meet every single week. And it's really good. It's helped my business grow a lot. And so I would just like for you to be my guest. Like, can I send you an invite to the meeting?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool. Yeah. So, so we could do that a little bit different. I'm going to say, so we pass $1 million a year. Do you think that maybe you'd be interested in going to that? Like, then it's like giving people an opportunity to say no, because I haven't really offered anything personal, right? But if I'm asking you to be my guest, what's the difference between saying be my guest and do you think that like you might maybe be interested?
Maybe not,
Yeah. I mean, I even said the word maybe, which gives you the opportunity to think maybe I shouldn't, right?
Right.
So, but if I ask you to be my guest to something, what's implied by me saying be my guest?
Like we're now buddies. Like you've done me a solid.
Yeah. And when you show up to the meeting, what am I going to do?
You're going to probably show me around and make me feel comfortable. And
yeah, I'm going to take care of you, right? Yeah, and I invited you to this thing, and like you are my guest, so I'm taking ownership of you. So that means that making you look good is going to be part of my job at this meeting.
Be my guest.
Be my guest.
That's the magic words, isn't it?
Those are the magic words, yeah. And that tends to be a really effective approach, I think, in inviting people.
Yeah, and it's not salesy. It's not like you're trying to figure out how much business they're doing every month, how many. Just come be my guest.
Yeah, and I'm not inviting you to join the group. I'm asking you to come and be my guest at this meeting. At this one meeting, I'm not even asking you for like a commitment of 2 meetings,
right?
Or $9.99 a month.
And it seems very, it's not very salesy. It's pretty unobtrusive, right?
Yeah. And it also kind of says that if you can't make it or you don't like it, we're still going to be friends.
Yeah.
Because like, come and be my guest. That's something that like buddies ask each other, right? And so I found that that's really worked well. And then the one other tip that I'll give you, the rest you have to discover on your own, or you can buy my book. No, I don't have a book or a website. Okay, I should. But the other thing is that you have to follow up. You have to. Okay, so even if you get a no from somebody, like sometimes it's just funny and good to be like, well, I had a great meeting on Thursday. What did you do instead? Oh, you just slept? Okay,
yeah.
Well,
7 a.m.
Yeah. And like with the story with Jesse, he got 8 letters. I showed up to his shop.
All went in the garbage can.
Yeah. Well, I showed up and he's like, which one of these 8 are you? And I'm like, I'm the one who followed up, right?
Oh, nice. Yeah. I like that.
And so that is a really big deal, is if you invite somebody, whether they say yes, no, they show up, they say they're coming, but they don't, just follow up with them, check in, see what's going on. Sometimes people forget, right? And sometimes people don't know that they can join. Right? They like show up and they're like, oh, I thought it was good, but do you guys really want me? It's like, yeah, absolutely. Right. And so following up, not just in inviting people, but following up in all kinds of things is just a really critical skill that will end up like blessing your life and getting you the things that you really like. And so
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the be my guest thing. I'm going to work on that.
Okay.
I feel that. It feels good to me.
Put our service to the test.
Okay.
All
right. Yeah. And thank you, Jason, for coming and helping educate our members. And remember, be my guest.
Be
And thank you for being my guest
Yes.
on this
Oh,
podcast.
thank you. Thank you very much.
That's
Anytime. I'm happy to be here.
I like you because you always make me laugh, and sometimes you make me laugh so hard I cry. So
Well, I would have been offended if you didn't invite me. So, yeah, you got lucky this time. No, I'm just
okay.
kidding.
All right. Thank you. And to everyone, happy networking.